All right, what's the situation? Who's causing a disturbance?
He is! They're trespassing and being loud and aggressive!
Officer, we have a permit. It's a birthday party for my son. She demanded we leave.
You the complainant? What did you see?
I saw him taking over the park! I asked for their permit and he got in my face!
That is not true. Officer, my wallet...
A woman walked up to a family having a birthday party in a public park. She had a simple question. "Excuse me, do you have permission to be here? This is a private event area," she said. The father looked up from the birthday cake. He spoke calmly. "We're just having a birthday party for my son." "A birthday party? With all this noise, all these people?" She looked around at the kids playing. "We have a permit. It's right here if you want to see it," he offered. She barely glanced at it. Okay, sure, a permit. I'm still calling the police." "Ma'am, we're not doing anything wrong." Her voice got cold. "You people need to leave. This park isn't for whatever this is." Patricia Hollings had no idea what she had just walked into. In the next 48 hours, she would face a $2.8 million lawsuit. She would give a public apology on the news. She would complete 200 hours of community service. The quiet father by the birthday cake was Marcus Washington. He was worth over $50 million. 3 years earlier, he had donated this exact park to the city. He gave it in memory of his late mother, Evelyn Washington. Her name was on the bronze sign at the entrance. Patricia had walked right past it. 12 people had their phones out. They recorded every word, every look, every comment Patricia thought no one would remember. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been judged unfairly just for existing somewhere? Drop your answer in the comments. Patricia had no idea who she was yelling at that sunny Saturday afternoon. Marcus Washington was 42 years old. He ran a company called Washington Community Development Corporation. He had graduated from Harvard Business School in 2008. He started his first charity when he was just 26. By 35, he had built 3 successful businesses. His net worth was around $52 million. But here is the part Patricia missed. Marcus sat on the city's Parks and Recreation Board. He was personal friends with the mayor. Over the past 10 years, he had given more than $4 million to local charities. He had a team of lawyers who handled civil rights cases. Now here is what made this even more painful. His mother Evelyn had died from cancer in 2019. Marcus donated this park in her memory in 2021. 500 people came to the ceremony when the park opened. The playground, the gardens, the benches. Marcus paid for all of it. This Saturday was his son Isaiah's 10th birthday. It was the first time the family celebrated at Grandma Evelyn's park. Marcus Washington was just trying to celebrate his son's birthday. He was in a park that carried his own mother's name. Patricia Hollings had built quite a reputation in Riverside Heights. She was 58 years old. She had retired from an office job. She had lived in the neighborhood for 12 years. She ran an unofficial group she called Neighborhood Watch. But Watch is not really what she did. Over 18 months, the city had 7 documented complaints from Patricia. Every single one was against a family of color. Every single one turned out to be nothing. Here are the facts. Incident 1. Patricia called police on a black teenager delivering newspapers. She said he was checking out houses to rob. Police found nothing wrong. The kid was just doing his job. Incident 2. She complained about a Latino family having a quinceañera at a community center. That is a 15th birthday party. Patricia called it a noise problem. The family had a valid permit. Incident 3. 6 months before this story, Patricia complained about a suspicious gathering at this same park. It was a church picnic. They had proper permission. The regulars at the park had a nickname for her. They called her Permit Patty. It was not a kind name. But Patricia had never met anyone like Marcus Washington. This time, her pattern would cost her everything. Let me know in the comments if you have ever dealt with someone like Patricia in your neighborhood. Saturday, June 15th, 2024. The time was around 2:30 in the afternoon. Evelyn Washington Memorial Park sat in Riverside Heights. 3 acres of green grass, playground equipment, and picnic areas. Right at the main entrance, there was a bronze sign with Evelyn's name on it. The weather was perfect. 78 degrees, light breeze, you could hear children laughing, soft music played from a speaker, the smell of grilled burgers filled the air. About 35 guests were there, 15 of them were kids. Marcus was there with his wife Denise. Their son Isaiah was turning 10. Family and friends filled the pavilion. A photographer walked around taking pictures. The party had everything. Decorations hung from the pavilion, a bounce house for the children, catered food from a local restaurant, and the permit was displayed on the post exactly as required. At 2:47 p.m., Patricia Hollings appeared. She was walking her small dog TH. Rough the park, she stopped at the edge of the celebration. She just stood there watching for several minutes. Other people noticed her staring. Then she walked straight up to Marcus. She ignored Denise and everyone else. She demanded to know who allowed this. Marcus pointed at the permit. That is when everything changed. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Patricia looked at the permit. Her eyes narrowed. I need to see the real permit, she said, not something you printed at home. Marcus stayed calm. This is the official city permit. You can see the seal right there. Patricia crossed her arms. The music is too loud. This breaks noise rules. Marcus pulled out his phone. He opened an app that measures sound. The level is 62. The limit is 85. We are well under. Patricia did not care about facts. These kinds of parties always cause problems. Marcus looked at her. What do you mean by these kinds? She stumbled over her words. I mean large gatherings. We have a permit for exactly this, Marcus said. Patricia's voice got louder. I am calling the police. I will have all of you removed. That is your right, Marcus replied, but we are not leaving. The argument continued. Patricia said something about people who do not belong in this neighborhood. That is when Marcus's brother David pulled out his phone and started recording. Stop filming me, Patricia snapped. This is harassment. But David kept recording, so did others. A white mother named Jennifer Martinez was at the playground with her kids. She walked over. Leave them alone, they are just having a party. An elderly man named Robert Chen was sitting on a bench nearby. He spoke up too. I have seen you do this before, lady. A teenager named Malik also started filming. He was already thinking about posting it online. Patricia stepped closer to Marcus. She pointed her finger in his face. Her voice rose to a shout. The children at the party looked scared. Denise quietly moved Isaiah and the younger kids away. It was wrong to scare children at a birthday party. Type justice in the comments if you agree. But wait, there is more to this. Patricia still had no idea where she was standing. She did not know this park was named after Marcus's mother. She did not know Marcus had paid for every inch of ground under her feet. Patricia pulled out her phone. She dialed 911. There is an unauthorized gathering here, she said loudly. I do not feel safe. She used specific words. Several witnesses later said her language sounded coded. 10 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived. Officer James Thompson had been on the force for 15 years. Officer Maria Santos had 8 years of experience. Both walked up calmly. They looked professional. Now here is where things changed. Marcus stayed calm. He walked up to the officers. He showed them the permit. I also sit on the Parks and Recreation Board, he said simply. Officer Thompson looked at the name on the permit, Washington. Then he looked toward the park entrance. The bronze sign said Evelyn Washington Memorial Park. Sir, is this park named after your family? Thompson asked. My mother, Marcus said. I donated it 3 years ago. Patricia heard this. She rolled her eyes. Anyone can say they donated something. But the officers were not listening to Patricia anymore. They were talking to the witnesses. Jennifer Martinez spoke first. She came up to them. They were just minding their own business. Robert Chen went next. I have lived here for 40 years. I was at the ceremony when this park opened. That man is Mr. Washington. Malik held up his phone. I got everything on video. She said you people like 3 times. The photographer added something important. I have professional cameras. I recorded the whole thing from different angles. Officer Thompson walked over to the park entrance. He took a picture of the dedication plaque. Officer Santos reviewed the permit. She confirmed it was real. Then the officers talked to Patricia. Her story kept changing. First she said the music was too loud, then she said she was worried about safety, then she said she did not know who these people were. Officer Thompson came back. He spoke directly to Patricia. "Ma'am, are you aware that Mr. Washington donated this park to the city?" Patricia's face changed. She tried to backtrack. "Well, I did not know that," she said, "but that does not mean anything." Thompson cut her off. "Ma'am, do you have any other concerns we need to address?" Patricia stood there in silence. She finally understood how badly she had messed up. But here is the thing, she still did not know something very important. She did not know who was watching. She did not know where her videos would end up. Type wow in the comments if you saw this coming. The worst part for Patricia was still ahead. By now, multiple phones had captured everything. Malik was already editing his video for TikTok. The officers did not arrest Patricia that day, but they did take careful notes. They talked to every witness. They looked at the permit 3 times. They took photos of the park sign. Here is what happened in the next few hours. By that evening, the police report reached the city attorney's office. Mayor Diane Rodriguez heard about it. She was a personal friend of the Washington family. She called Marcus directly to apologize. The park's commissioner also called. He said he was sorry this happened in a park that carried his mother's name. But the investigation did not stop there. Police pulled all of Patricia's previous complaints to the city. They found the pattern, 7 complaints, all against families of color. All of them were wrong. Now the officers compared Patricia's story to the facts. Patricia said the music was too loud. Reality check. The phone app showed 62 decibels. The limit was 85. She was wrong. Patricia said they did not have a permit. Reality check. The permit was posted on the pavilion. Officers verified it. She was wrong. Patricia said she felt unsafe. Reality check. She approached them first. She became the aggressive one. She was wrong. Patricia said she never mentioned race. Reality check. Multiple witnesses heard her say "you people." 3 different videos caught it. She was wrong again. The officers gave Patricia an official warning. They told her she could face charges if she did this again. They told her not to approach the Washington family. Patricia tried different responses. First, she said she had a right to call police. Then she said people were blowing this out of proportion. Then she tried to act like she was the victim. None of it worked. Back at the party, the mood had changed. The family tried to continue the celebration, but the joy was gone. Isaiah had seen everything. He asked his father a question that broke Marcus's heart. "Dad, why was that lady so angry at us?" Marcus did not have a good answer. No parent should have to explain that to their child. But the story was not over. What Patricia did not know was that Malik had already uploaded his video, and it was about to blow up. If you believe in accountability, hit subscribe so you do not miss what happens next. By 4 o'clock that same Saturday, Malik's video was online. The caption said Karen versus the man who owns the park. By 5 o'clock, 50,000 people had watched it. Comments were flooding in. By 8 o'clock, it was trending on TikTok. The hashtags were Karen exposed and Riverside Heights Karen. By midnight, the video had 2.3 million views. It had spread to Twitter and Instagram too. By Sunday morning, local news stations were calling the Washington family. They all wanted interviews. Here are the final numbers. On TikTok alone, the video got 4.7 million views. It got 890,000 likes. 127,000 people shared it. On Twitter, big accounts with 12 million followers combined reposted it. On Instagram, news accounts added millions more views. On YouTube, news clips got 3 million views in 2 days. People had a lot to say. One comment said, "She walked past a sign with his mother's name. I cannot even." Another said, "Imagine calling the cops on a man at his own park." Someone else wrote, "The way she said 'you people,' we all know what she meant." One comment hit hard. "That little boy's face when she was yelling, 'I am so angry.'" The city released a statement supporting the Washingtons. Mayor Rodriguez called it unacceptable harassment. The local NAACP chapter offered their support. What did Patricia do? She deleted her Facebook, but people had already saved the screenshots. She stopped walking her dog in the park. She did not make any public statement. But 3 days later, Patricia made a big mistake. She sent a letter to the Washington family. She called the viral response defamation. The Washington family's lawyers were very interested in that letter. If you think Patricia was wrong, drop a comment below and share this video so others can see what happened. On June 24, 2024, the Washington family filed a lawsuit. They sued Patricia for racial harassment. They sued for emotional distress. They sued for defamation based on things she said to neighbors after the incident. The case was filed in Superior Court. Their lead lawyer was Michelle Foster. She was known for winning civil rights cases. Now here is what came out during the case. Remember those 7 complaints Patricia filed before? All of them came back. All of them were against people of color. All of them were wrong. But it got worse. Lawyers found emails Patricia had sent to City Council. In them, she called for better screening of park users. They found text messages from her neighborhood group. Patricia had made clear racist comments in those texts. Other people she had harassed before came forward. They shared their own stories. The pattern was clear. Want to know how much Patricia had to pay? Let me break it down. She paid $2.2 million in damages. She paid another $400,000 in extra damages meant to punish her. She paid $200,000 in lawyer fees. The total was $2.8 million. But money was not the only consequence. Patricia was banned from all city parks forever. She got a restraining order. She had to stay 500 feet away from the Washington family at all times. Patricia was not working, but her husband's business faced boycotts. People refused to buy from him. The family had to sell their house to pay the settlement. Patricia also faced criminal charges. She pleaded no contest to misdemeanor harassment. That means she did not fight the charge. She got 200 hours of community service at a civil rights organization. She had to complete mandatory training about racial sensitivity. The court made Patricia give a public apology. She read it at a press conference. It was clearly written by her lawyers. She kept her eyes down. She did not look at anyone. People were not impressed. One comment said she is only sorry she got caught. Marcus Washington spoke after the case ended. This was never about the money, he said. It was about accountability. My son asked me why that woman was angry at us. No child should ever have to ask that question. Then Marcus announced something else. All the settlement money would go toward community programs. He turned something ugly into something helpful. 2 months later, Marcus held a press conference. He stood in Evelyn Washington Memorial Park, right next to his mother's plaque. My son's 10th birthday should have been a celebration, he said. Instead, it became a lesson in how the world sometimes sees him. He paused. My wife could not sleep for weeks. She kept asking me what if the police had not believed us. That was the part that scared the family most. What if the officers had taken Patricia's side? What if there were no witnesses? Marcus continued. I had resources, I had witnesses, I had cameras, but what about the families who do not have those things? This happens every day to people who cannot fight back. Then he spoke directly to families who have faced similar treatment. You are not crazy, you are not overreacting. What you experience is real. Write down everything. Find your community. You are not alone. He also had a message for everyone else. If you see something like this happening, do not just watch. Speak up, record, be a witness. Silence protects the aggressor, not the victim. Marcus thanked Jennifer Martinez by name. He thanked Robert Chen. He thanked Malik. He thanked his legal team and the officers who treated them fairly. He thanked his community. Then he said something that stayed with people. My mother's name is on this park because she believed in community. She believed we could be better. I still believe that, but we have to choose it every single day. This story is not just about one woman in one park. Research shows Black Americans are 2.5 times more likely to have police called on them for doing nothing wrong. Most people who face this treatment do not have $50 million. They do not have lawyers on call. They do not own the park. This case mattered because everything was recorded, because the victim had resources, because the irony was too big to ignore. But the same thing happens quietly every day to people who cannot fight back. So let me ask you, do we need stronger laws against fake police reports that target people by race? Do we need real consequences for patterns of harassment? Do we need to rethink who gets to decide who belongs in public spaces? Because if we do not address the entitlement, if we do not challenge the assumptions, if we do not create real consequences, then we are just waiting for the next Patricia Hollings, the next birthday party ruined, the next child asking their father why someone was angry at them just for existing. Comment below if you believe fake, racially motivated police calls should be a serious crime. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button right now. We are going to keep exposing these patterns. We are going to keep demanding accountability. We are going to keep fighting for public spaces that belong to everyone, for children who can celebrate without fear, for a world where your right to exist is not up for debate. This is not just about one woman in one park. It is about all of us and the world we are willing to accept. See you in the next one.